Adam Kingsley has set a high bar since taking over the Giants. 3 seasons in charge, 3 September campaigns. However, getting to grand final day has been a bridge too far. Over summer, they've retooled, adding premiership demon Clayton Oliver to an already exciting midfield mix. Ahead of season 2026, what can we expect from Coach Kingsley and his orange tsunami? Adam, thank you so much for joining us. So if you have a look at last season and the way the team was able to fly home, it was a staggering start. A lot of games away from home to begin with, and then you really came home so strong. How do you evaluate the way the year went?
Oh, look, we obviously weren't happy with the way it finished, but our year was kind of a pretty successful one. We deem it 16 wins home and away is the equal most we've ever had in any season we've had. So we were pretty pleased with that, and we felt like it was kind of reflective of the last couple of years where we started well, and then throughout that period where away from home was a little bit patchy, and then we found our groove and started coming home strongly. That continues to be a challenge, that patch where we need to start banking wins throughout that patch. But the way that we finished the season, the way that we played against Hawthorn, who we rate really highly, you know, we were pretty pleased with that. We were in front in the last quarter, but couldn't quite get the job done. They
say a good team needs finals heartbreak to make it all the way, and unfortunately you very much ticked that box in the last couple of years. You've had some really heartbreaking finals exits, but does it harden the group? Does it give them that resilience that you'd rather not have it, but they've got that resilience?
Not have it. Yeah, we think we have. I mean, and time will tell. We just need to continue to put ourselves in that position and risk having that feeling again of heartbreak, but who knows, maybe we've learned our lessons and can apply them during those periods where we need them and come out the other side with a bit of happiness. So that's the aim and that's the hope, and that's why we do all the hard work over the pre-season. But I think in our final series, you're right, we've been beaten in close games. You know, we've lost our last 4 finals, and so they've all been close games, but we've been in front or level in the last quarter in each of them. So we're giving ourselves every chance. We just need to be able to finish our work a little better, and it's something we've spoken about. It's something we're working towards, and hopefully we can see it this year.
And so that hunger for success, I mean, you can see it in the eyes of Toby Green when he runs out there, and he knows that he's closer to the end than the beginning of his career. For him individually, as someone that drives very much the standards of the club, I mean, can you just feel that desperation in him to want to be able to get there?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I wouldn't describe it as a desperation. I'd call it a hunger. These guys, you know, whether it's Stephen Coniglio, Lockie Whitfield, Josh Kelly, who's not training with us at the moment but still contributing really strongly, you know, off the field, Toby, they've got this hunger to really do everything they possibly can to give themselves another chance. And that's what we've done over the summer. You know, we feel like we're in a really good space, but who knows? They're hard to win, these premierships, and it's hard to make finals. There's a lot of good teams, and you need a bit of luck along the way, and you know, we keep our fingers crossed.
And luck with injuries. It did feel last year that you were kind of chasing the injury toll the whole time. You get a couple back and then you get a few more out. And a few of your key playmakers, I mean, Jesse Hogan looked sore a lot of the year. Josh Kelly was another one that really battled. Have you had the pre-season that you wanted in terms of being able to get most on the park?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we've put a lot of training sessions into most of our guys. We've still had some modified. You know, Jesse's been modified, but he's always modified during that pre-season, given his previous injury history with navicular stress fractures and some of the other things. So, yeah, we've been really pleased with our pre-season. We've worked incredibly hard. A lot of our guys have had minutes put into them. We feel like now the games are around the corner, we've got pretty much a full list to choose from. We have a couple of ACLs. We have Josh Kelly out, obviously, for the early part of the season. So, yeah, we feel like we're in good shape. We've put in a good block of work, and now we hope for the best.
Clayton Oliver coming to the club, it's obviously a really big story. Does he address a need in the midfield that you feel comes out of last year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you look at our stoppage game, that needs to improve. We've got to become a better clearance team, and that'll help us build pressure on the opposition. And Clayton's one of the best clearance players in the game at his best. So I think he definitely helps us in that phase.
Aaron Cadman's another really exciting young gun. Obviously, the tag of being such a high draft pick, it comes with expectation and pressure. We know young forwards take a while. He's got a great one to learn off in Jesse. But we saw some games last year where he really announced himself. Is there more progression and development? You think he's right on the cusp of something?
Oh, I think so. I think his season last year was really, really good. 44 goals in return. I love his work in the contest. I love his follow-up. His ability to either attack or defend is as good as any key forward in the game, in my view. And we certainly celebrate that internally. And again, he's done almost every session across the pre-season this year, so he set himself up for an even better season this year, and he'll continue to improve. He's very ambitious. He's an enormously hard worker and very grounded. So yeah, we love him at the footy club.
The Orange Tsunami. Jared Healy gets a bit of a commission every time we mention it at Fox Footy, so we mention it all the time.
Yeah.
What's the next incarnation of that? Where does that go to next? Because when it's on, when you guys are flowing from the back half, is when you look your best.
Yeah, it is, but we can't do that every single time we win possession, and I think we've realised that. Pushed it a little bit too hard at times last year, which can end up hurting you defensively, particularly on the scoreboard and inside 50s against. There's a stat that we need to be able to reduce. Part of that is because we are trying to, play that sort of brand, that fast attacking style. Sometimes it leaves you open. So we need to be a little bit better in managing that. We need to be a bit better at choosing when to and when not to. The Orange Tsunami is a bit more than just ball in hand. It's, we want to re-establish our pressure game. When the opposition pick the ball up, they've got that orange tsunami of jumpers, flooding at them and forcing panic. And, that's how we view the orange tsunami, more so than, the offensive nice pieces of play. We view it as a pressure sort of mechanism and label. And
so even though it's something that's been coined externally, you can buy into that brand and build on it and make it your own?
Yeah, well, Jared created it, as we're fully aware. I think it's a great label for our club. I think it's a great description of the way that we want to play, but it doesn't have to be every minute of the game. And so we need to manage that a little better. Like
Aaliyah and everything that happened with him, it was really tough, I imagine, for him at the time to have the rug pulled out from underneath him. Did you have to really get around him as a football club and make sure he felt the love? And how do you think he'll handle the couple of times you're due to play the Saints this year?
Oh, he'll be fine. He's a smart young man. He understands the business of AFL football now, and he was overseas at the time throughout that period. So he had support with teammates around him. We certainly made contact, and he knows he's loved at our footy club, and whether he was playing for St Kilda next year or us, we love him. He's a great person. He's been a great contributor for our club. There was no damage done or anything like that. He was certainly welcomed back to our club. He's an incredibly respectful young man, and I think he's going to be a great contributor for us. Yeah, good to hear. Hopefully it all works out the way it should, really, for him. Josh Kelly, if we have a look at what he did towards the end, there was like a glimpse of this is what a fit or almost fit Josh Kelly can do in a couple of minutes. Unfortunately, you're not going to have him for a period of time. No. How do you manage that to make sure that when he comes back, he's 100% good to go? Well, he'll follow his program. That third quarter of that finals game against the Hawks last year, I heard somewhere it was the highest rated quarter of any Giants player in any final that we've ever played. So that tells you just how good that quarter was. But as you said, he had surgery at the end of the year on his hip. He's a slow recovery. We hope to see him towards the back end of the season. And is there a chance he might not play at all? I presume so. I mean, it's not something that I've considered, to be fair, but we want him back. He's got to follow his program and not try and push it too much. He's progressed to walking at the moment, so he'll build to running soon enough. And then each step, each month comes, and hopefully he passes that test and can move on to the next. Progress to walking. It's a big operation, obviously. It's a massive operation. Clearly, the size of the operation is a reflect of how much it was giving him grief throughout the season and really the last two seasons. It needed to be done, but it is a slow recovery. And again, if he doesn't play this season, it's not the end of the world. He'll get stuck into a really good pre-season the following season and hope to be fit, to contribute on the field. His rehab program is his rehab program, but his contributions in meetings and off-field to his teammates, his leadership has been really strong. Not only is he helping his teammates around him, but he's also developing himself so that when he does return, he's hopefully an even better version of what we've seen. And that leadership, I imagine, is really important with someone like Cal Ward, who's been a long-time veteran of the club leaving, that, Josh may be able to stand up even more in a leadership sense. Yeah, there's a void to be filled, and Josh is certainly one of those guys who is stepping into that void and helping fill it. So Cal still remains involved at the club. He's working in our development team as a part-time development coach, so we still see him around the club a fair bit, which is great. It is a big hole to fill. We've got multiple players doing that, and Josh is certainly one of them.
Some big picture questions. Our wild card round. Are we a fan or not, or does it depend if you need it?
If we need it, we're great. If we finish 9th or 10th, I think it's a great idea. Yeah, I'm not sure. I probably need to see it play out just to have a bit stronger assessment on it. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, the season is a very long season. It's very taxing on our players. So adding an extra game in, we'll see how that unfolds. But yeah.
Rule changes, any in particular that you think will have a big impact? What are the ones that you've got an eye on?
I think the tightening of the stand rule will have an impact. I think it'll make it slightly harder to defend. I think it'll encourage teams to try and play on a bit more from the mark, create a bit more overlap, potentially to try and break lines, which, I think it'll have a positive impact on the game.
The benchmark, the Brisbane Lions are going for a three-peat. They've been extraordinary in the last couple of years. Everyone's obviously chasing them. How do you bridge that gap?
They're strong in all phases of the game. We've had some really strong games against the Lions, but they've also knocked us off in a final that ultimately led to their first premiership. So, incredibly dangerous, great players all over the field, really strong system, well coached. But we feel like we've got a game that can certainly compete with those guys, if not beat them. We've just got to be able to deliver it for a bit longer than what we did a couple of years ago, and every team will be thinking the same. We'll drag some elements of their game out and try and replicate that, and we'll certainly identify where we challenge them and try and do that a little bit better.
Looking forward to a big season from the Giants and the new orange tsunami. Thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks for having me.